Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing the Range Rover SV. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in Lehigh for giving some time with this SV. This particular one is available for sale if you happen to be interested. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out this and the rest of the inventory that they have. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for Jordan. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood we have a twin-turbo 4.4 liter V8 that goes to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 16 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 606 horsepower and then 553 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, it's raised there on either side, so it gives it a boxier look. As being a boxy, look at the headlight design here, and then also the headlights are pretty much flush with the grille, but then once you pop down below things break up a little bit. But yeah, this one's pretty much all blacked out. I mean, you have some gray accenting, but it's got that darker theme on the exterior. Now our tire wheel setup is 285 by 40 by 23 in the front and over in the rear. And yeah, speaking of darker elements, look at these wheels, completely blacked out. I like the red brake caliper, that contrasts very nicely with this particular package. And then you can see with the gray accenting here on the side. And then taking a few steps back, I like the side profile on the full size. I think it's probably its best angle. Now we do have a pretty fancy key fob, so we have our lock and unlock function, the opening for the hatch, that's turning the lights. The fancy part is the SV logo instead of the Land Rover logo, so it kind of elevates it a bit. Now we do still have the split gate here in the back, so we've got a tailgate here in the bottom, which is definitely a nice feature to have. See little sliders there for the cargo cover here in the back, and tons of storage space here in the SV. And then you can also throw down the seats if you want. Notice with the automatic cargo cover, and then we can also raise and lower the suspension to make accessing the rear a little bit easier. So quite a few practical controls. And then when you're all done, you've got this nice button there up top, and then I'll close both all at once, which I think is nice. You can see the SV logo, and the taillights are kind of hidden in the back, but it's the rest of the rear. And this leads us inside, so you can see really nice trim all across. I like this with the wood down below, and you can see with the leather trim as well. Even the bottom section of the door panel is covered, and then you do have your seat adjustments, memory seats for the back passengers. That's crazy. And then speaking of back seats, look at these things. Super nice trim on them, and then you can see Range Rover SV. So the legroom here in the back's really solid. We've got this little storage pocket, see, for the Meridian sound system. And then we do have our own climate zone, and I like how you've got the white trim, kind of like with the SV theme. I don't know, I think that's fun. But if we push in, you can see that we've got heated and cooled seats here in the back, and then that's cool for the little storage space. Really nice finish with the trim. And then look at this. Yes, that is fully covered in leather and fully automated. It's pretty fancy. It's going down. Wow. Yeah, that's, I mean, look at this trim. That is super nice. But oh yes, of course, we've got to have the Land Rover mirror. That is interesting. I guess this is what the rich folks want. But yeah, really nice finish on all this, and you can see we've got the screen here to control items. What more could you ask for, folks? This backseat area is pretty crazy. And then even like the grab handles here in the back look fancy. I almost forgot, look at this. It's got the super, like, probably the most over-engineered cup holder setup in the entire car industry. I mean, that is crazy. But that's what you get with SV. Now this leads us up front again. You got the pop-out door handles, and again, really nice trim all over. I like the wood trim as well. Again, memory seats, all of your window controls, mirror adjustments, and all that are all in that one little section. Blind spot running with mirrors too, for those of you that are wondering. And then here are the front seats. Again, they've got that kind of minimalist, but then still very luxury design. And this is nice here with the trim on the dash. You can see down below with the pedal layout. So taking a look at the steering wheel, really nice trim all around with the wood, and then you got the leather there in the center. Paddle shifters are on the back of the steering wheel. We've got a bunch of practical controls up front, including your cruise control, heated steering wheel button, controls there for the center, and then look at this, the airbag cover has leather and stitching. And then you've got traditional stocks here on the back with the full size. And then here's that digital gauge cluster. You can change the layout of the info panel, which I think is pretty cool depending on what you want to see here, and then how you want it to look, whether you want it just to be a single gauge, 2 gauges like this is set up with. And then we do have a 360 camera system. It fills in underneath the vehicle as well. And then it also has that 3D view, and then you've got your on-road, off-road, and towing visuals. But quick response time with the whole system. And if you press the little mode tab there, this is where the driving modes will pop up. But yeah, everything's really easy to use, and I like how you have shortcuts for it too on the screen, because everything is built into the screen now. So it is important to have this, I think, in my personal opinion. But there's the center. We do also have a heads-up display, and then of course leather trim all over the dash, and then we've got the double glove box, so top, and then you've got the one down below. You get more of that fancy wood trim, and that's continued here in the center, which this is just kind of storage. Very nice actuation on all of it, and you do get a shifter there, by the way. Cool box here in the center. Got a nice trim on the top. Got the armrests here again with the white trim there. And then camera rear view mirror, and then leather headliner. Yes, that is correct. We have a leather headliner. Panoramic center. So here's a winter sticker for this SV long wheelbase. Now, base MSRP, and there's not that many options to add to this, just a few. Total MSRP, $243,665. Let's see how it performs. Well, SV, so visibility throughout, really good. Camera rear view mirror obviously helps out. I think this will be my first full review on one of these new. Usually you have to wait for them to come in pre-owned, but everyone's finally ramping up production with their vehicles, and so it's a little bit easier to get a hold of more special stuff like this, which I think is great. It means that the people that want them can get them, and the people like me that want to review them can also get them. But so smooth. So I've reviewed a lot of luxury cars over the years, and I think that Land Rover is my favorite luxury brand when it just comes to pure comfort and luxury. And what I mean is the powertrain, very smooth. Now I will say this has nothing on like a V12 turbo or a W12 turbo. I have driven those in the Bentleys and the Rolls Royces, so I will put that out there. But still, great powertrain. BMW is actually the one that makes the unit, and it just does so well. But the biggest thing that's, I think, also of equal importance is just how quiet this is. So really good insulation from the road, and then ride quality is so amazing. It just has this nice floaty feel, and that's something that surprised me that wasn't present in Rolls-Royce and especially in Bentley. Rolls-Royce has like a pretty decent floaty feel, but it's not, at least when I drove a Cullinan, it wasn't quite on this level. And then Bentley, definitely not. Bentley's like kind of more hard-edged sport. It's a way to put it. But this is just a car that you get in and you're just comfortable, and you just kind of float down the road. Don't think about anything. You don't even think about driving. That's the thing that I think is important to emphasize on the Range Rovers, is you just don't think about driving, which is nice. Oh, I think I selected something. So what we'll do here is we'll pop it into dynamic. And the braking is, it's easy to It's easy to be smooth with this car. You don't get a lot of, like when you come to a stop, you know, the front end doesn't nosedive, for example. There's just a lot of little things with how they tweak this with the air suspension and everything to make it so the car pretty much always stays level. And so, again, that's why you don't think about driving with this car, is the dynamics are really well tuned. And I mean, hey, it passes the one-arm driving test, but yeah, it's got power. Again, this isn't about sporty driving, it's about comfort, but it's got some power. And something else to note, the trim around the steering wheel, it makes the steering experience, again, there's so many things that are just well done. It makes the steering experience much better, because what you have is when you turn, the steering wheel slides through your hands. It doesn't catch on them. Like a lot of cars with just full leather trim, it catches on your hand a little bit. It's not the case with this. So it makes the steering experience feel more luxury as well. Yeah, it's just so well tuned. So to fully cap things off here with this Range Rover, ride quality is great. It's quiet, it's comfortable. I think this is all the luxury you need. And I've seen, you know, at the Salt Lake store, there's quite a few of the Cullinans getting traded in for these. I've seen that happen, and I think that's because this gives you as good, and in my opinion, a better luxury experience as the Cullinan at a much lower price point. And you still get all the luxury features, and it still looks great on the outside. So I just think there's not really a downside. And like I said, I think this is as high as it makes sense to go luxury wise. Outside of this, you're just paying for badge engineering. But let me know your thoughts on the full size long wheelbase, but gosh, one of the best driving vehicles ever.